Pocket Money Podcast. How to stop procrastinating, right? How to stop not doing what you should be doing to make money, because it's like money doesn't make itself. You can use money to make money, so in one way, money can make itself, but you still got to put in the effort. You still got to figure out what you can put your money into that can make your money back, right? Like you can invest in the stock market. Investing in the stock market is a little bit faster than trying to like start a business or something. You could try to put $1,000, $2,000 into starting a business, but there's no guarantee that you'll be able to get your return on that investment in a timely fashion. Some people are in a hurry; they don't want to wait too long. Especially right now with the idea that when you work, you either get paid weekly or bi-weekly. So that's pretty fast compared to trying to start a business, which might take months, maybe years before it becomes profitable. So when you don't have that much time, that amount of time to spare, or you just don't want to, waste that much time. You don't want to spend that much time just trying to make something. Especially if the idea is just to make some pocket money, then you need stuff that's quicker. And stock market is one of those ways you can make quick money. You can make quick money through crypto. From my experience, I've been experimenting with crypto, investing right now, crypto trading. And it's fast, because as soon as you want to sell your crypto, you instantly sell it. So it's instantaneous. So you buy crypto for, buy low, sell high, buy low, sell high. And that's how you can make your money. So it's pretty simple, straightforward. Obviously, there's more to it than just that, but that is the basic aspect of crypto trading right now. You buy low, sell high, buy low, sell high. I'm still experimenting on the method that I'm currently working on. So my idea right now is to two things. I have a couple different coins, right, cryptocurrencies that I'm invested in. Cause I'm trying different things out, but the main two is Bitcoin and Dogecoin. Now, Dogecoin is one of the lowest cryptocurrencies right now, and it has a habit of going up and down, up and down. Right now, it's pretty low. It's less than 10 cents right now per share. I got over 200 shares, right, or over 200 coins. So anytime that my coins become worth $1, right, then I will have $200, over $200 in value, just with that investment alone. And I put in about $20 or something similar to that. So that's the thing. So I have roughly $20 invested, and it could turn into over $200. So again, it's less than 10 cents. That's the thing. It's less than 10 cents. So even if it doesn't have to go to $1, it would be nice if it does. But let's say it doesn't go to $1. Let's say at most it goes to 20 cents. All right, that's at least double my initial investments. Which means the more coins I buy, right, at the 10 cent mark, right, and then wait until it hits 20, so that way I doubled. So let's say I put $1,000 in, and at 10 cents a coin, and then it doubles. I turn 1,000 into 2,000, right? As an example. So right now, that's what I'm mainly waiting for, is for the coin to go up to 20 cents, because that would definitely be double my initial investment. And then I would just take out my initial investment out. You always want to get your initial investment back. Take my initial investment out, and then just, hold on to the coin for a while and see what happens. And then the idea is, if the coin keeps going up, which is ideal, then whatever profits I make, whatever extra money I get beyond the initial amount that I left in there, then I just start taking that out. All right, and just leave the profit. So the idea is to invest, right? Invest something to get you started. Then once you get at least double, you make double, then take your initial investment back, and then just keep working with your profit and just keep growing your profit. But then eventually start taking profit, right? Start taking some profit, leave some profit, right? Leave some money, so that we can keep making money and just keep doing that. So that way it's like a infinite money glitch, basically. And then you just start wanting to start taking your profits, right? Start liquidating, because you're going to need the money, right? You're going to want the money to spend it and do things. So you don't want to just leave it in there. And then the next thing you want to do is, the next thing other than the Dogecoin is the Bitcoin. And Bitcoin tends to jump pretty high. So like, depending on how much you put in, it tends to jump pretty high, money-wise. So let's say I put in 100 into Bitcoin, and then I make $10, right? It jumps up in value, and I make $10. I take out the $10, right? Take that profit and then invest it into Dogecoin. And Doge, like I said, with Dogecoin, especially it being low right now, you want to catch it while it's low. So the idea is that I'm doing right now is take profit from Bitcoin and put it into Doge. Take profit from Bitcoin and put it into Doge, right? And then Doge, when it goes up, at least double, right? It goes up double, so that way I double my initial investment. Then I double my money, and then I take the profit, and then I put it into my bank. And I can do whatever I want with it. Obviously I can spend it, or just put it into a CD account or savings account with a high yield, high percentage yield, so that way the money keeps making me money, but at least it won't be in the stock market, it wouldn't be in the stock market, right? So that way my initial investment, or my initial capital, however way you want to call it, will be, in CDs, it'll be in the bank, accruing interest. And I can use that interest to, and put that interest into money, right? The interest money, right? The interest money, throw it into the stock market, right? And just keep that cycle going. And the idea is just to keep making profit, right? Keep taking the profit out, put it into, it depends on what you want to do. If, like I said, if you want to multiply, it depends where you're taking the profit out. Because if you're taking the profit out of Bitcoin, you want to invest it into Dogecoin, and then make it grow in Dogecoin, right? Then take the profit out after it grows and put it into your savings account, right? And put it into a CD account. And that's the little system that I have. That's the method that I'm working with right now. So we'll see how useful that one is. But the thing is that most people don't want to put in time and effort and work into achieving something, which sometimes is hard to get people. Like, you might find a method, like for example, my method right now that I'm trying, it's currently right now it's working pretty decent. Like, at least I have it set up, and I already did take out some money from some of my initial investments. So I already was able to take close to $1,000 back of my initial investment back. And 'cause I think I invested close to 2,000 just to try it, just to test out the stock market, just to practice and learn. And I at least got half of that back that I took out, because it was profitable, right? I made some money, so I'm able to take money out, and I still have. So I took about $1,000, right, close to 1,000, out of my investment, out of the stock market, right, but still have close to 2,000, right, and my initial investment was approximately 2,000. So you see the pattern there. So at least I made close to an extra 1,000 on my initial investment. So of course I take that back so that I can get half of my initial investment back, and then the goal is to try to take another 1,000 out, and then whatever is left over, which would be close to 1,000 or less than that, there'll be left over in the that would be profit, because I'm just taking out my initial investment, trying to get back my $2,000 investment, and whatever's left will be what I continue to invest with, and continue growing that. Let's see. But like I was saying, the whole thing about trying to get people to do stuff tends to be hard. Trying to get yourself to do stuff tends to be hard because of procrastination. It's easier to do nothing than it is to do something. So sometimes you gotta try to find a way to make doing something easy, so that way doing nothing is less tempting, right? We know that doing nothing equals nothing, so you would think that would be enough motivation, that getting nothing for doing nothing would motivate you to be like, you know what, I want to do something because I want something. And a lot of times that does work, but not a lot, not all the time. I've dealt with some people who, even when I make something so simple, even when I do the work for them, like, look, here, I'll set it up, boom, boom, there. Now you have a system, now you have a way of making money. Just do this one little thing. Just promote it. Just let people know you have this little business that I set up for you for free. I set you up this little free business, little drop shipping business. You just gotta tell people about it, and that's it. You could do it once a week, once a day, whatever. However much effort you want to put into it is how much you'll get in return. But then the person doesn't want to do shit. It's like, what? I gave you something that requires very little to no effort. Obviously, if you put no effort, you get nothing out of it. And that's what happened. The person got nothing out of it because they did nothing. I'm like, if you put at least a fraction of a percent effort, or at least 1% effort, you'll get something. That's the whole point. You'll get something. Just one bit of effort, and you'll get something in return. But it's just so ironic that even when you make something easy for somebody, they always want to make it hard for themselves, and that's one of the issues with procrastination. It's because it's easier than doing something, and there's people who just rather do nothing. And to a certain degree, I can kind of understand like not wanting to do anything, because it's like, it is mundane, like working, doing things to try to get money, and that stuff is boring and whatnot. I get it. Exercising can be boring, but the benefits are worth it, right? Being in good shape, not being broke, that way you can always afford to do the things you want to do, right? That's worth it. But for some people, the procrastination is strong, so it's hard for them to resist procrastinating. So my main thing is, if you find yourself motivated, energized, right, to do something, do a lot, right? Try to set stuff up, right? Take that time when you're not procrastinating, and try to do things to set up some type of system, some type of way of doing the things that you normally procrastinate on it, do it then. That way, whenever you do feel like procrastinating, right, you can still do something even when you're doing nothing, because you set something up. You already did all the work previously. An example of that would be, let's say you cook a lot of rice. Instead of cooking, let's say, cook a lot of rice. Cook a lot of rice all at once. Then, get a whole bunch of containers and fill them up with portions of rice, right? Fill them up with rice that you cooked, right? And let's say you have 10, small containers of rice. All right, cool. Or let's say seven containers, one for each day of a week. So now you have rice for a week. Instead of you cooking rice every day, because obviously at some point you're going to get lazy, you're going to procrastinate, so then you might not feel like cooking. But if you already took one day out of that whole week to make enough rice for the whole week, that will, help you mitigate your procrastination. Now, I'm not saying that you won't still procrastinate. What I'm saying is at least you made sure that whatever you normally would procrastinate, you at least took care of it on one time when you weren't procrastinating, right? It's the same thing as, investing. Instead of like trying to invest every day, find some stuff to invest in the stock market that you can invest one time and then just not worry about it for like a month. Because more likely you're just not going to be, checking on it. You're not going to be, keeping track of news and information about the stock. So it's the whole set it and forget it, because the possibility that you're going to be procrastinating. That's the kind of stuff that I keep in mind. Another thing is set it up where some stuff where you feel like, is a lot of work, you might delegate it to somebody else and make sure that somebody else takes care of that stuff for you, so that way you don't have to. Unless you feel like doing it, then, do it. But if you don't feel like doing it, get somebody else to do it. Sometimes there's things you want to do, like let's say exercise, and you don't feel like exercising. Try to find something you can do that's physical, some type of physical activity that you do want to do, and do that, and that will be your exercise, right? Let's say you don't feel like jogging, right? Then get on the bike and watch TV or something, or be on your phone, or walk around in your room, or walk around the house, or walk around your neighborhood. Instead of jogging, just walk around your neighborhood, be on your phone. Try to be safe, obviously. Don't be out in any dangerous area, but you get the point. It's like, do something. Do something. Interesting enough, swimming, right? Swimming, you get a lot of exercise out of swimming. So, if you got a pool and whatnot, go swimming. Just swim and just listen to music or something. Just because, the thing is, you're more likely to do that than to go to the gym and work out and this and that. I mean, it'd be better to go to the gym, but if you're really, 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 really going to procrastinate, I'd rather you do something than nothing, right? So let me pause for a bit. You just want to try to make things a little less, like for example, you want to, let's say you got to do some paperwork. Let's say you want to do some stuff on your computer, but you feel tired, you want to lie down. Well, lie down with the computer, right? Lying down, grab your, computer. Obviously, it needs to be like a laptop or something, and then take advantage of that and do the work with, by lying, while lying down. That way you can multitask. So the idea is to try to multitask, try to do something even when you're pretty much trying to do nothing because you feel like doing nothing. So that's one of the ways I try to reduce procrastination. I'm not perfect at it. There'll be times where I'll be like, I'm not gonna do shit, and I'm just gonna go sleep. So, but that's usually because I don't get that much sleep during the week anyway. You know, I get like maybe 4 to 5 hours of sleep a day. And on the weekends, I tend to try to sleep more. Even though I feel motivated to do some stuff on the weekends, sleep overrides it. So I end up sleeping a lot of hours on the weekend to make up for the lack of sleep during the weekday. You know. But there's always stuff to do. That's the thing. You know. That's the thing, you know, when you really got that feeling of like doing nothing, you gotta really find a way to do something. You know, I already mentioned that, you know, trying to get somebody else to help you do something, so that way, because the thing about procrastination is that it prevents you from doing stuff, right? Like, you have stuff to do. Let's say you have 10 things to do on your to-do list, but you do one of those things and then ignore the other 9. And then, you know, let's say you have other things to do. So then you add to that list. Now that list gets bigger because you're doing less what's on the list, but you keep adding stuff to the list because there's always something to do. There's always something extra. So that creates a problem. You know, procrastination just makes it harder for you down. You know, in the long run. Because all the stuff you didn't do eventually compounds, eventually adds up. And then some people, you know, they get overwhelmed, stressed out, because like, oh my God, I got all this stuff to do. Yeah, you got all this stuff to do and very little time to do it in, especially in a day, especially if you have a time limit. You don't want to procrastinate when you have stuff you're supposed to do. Like, let's say you have a project or you're doing something for somebody and they paid you to do some work for them. You definitely can't be procrastinating when you're doing work because they're paying you for time, right? Remember, they're procrastinating. That's why they are not doing it themselves. That's why they're paying you to do it. So you can't be procrastinating on top of the fact they were procrastinating, right? So try to figure out ways to motivate yourself. Try to find ways to procrastinate less. You know, you don't want to be stuck in a scenario where you're not doing anything. You know, I'm not saying do a lot. I'm not saying do the whole entire thing that you set out to do or that you need to do, but do something. Do a little bit of it. All right, let's say you plan to clean your room or something, or your office or something. Do something, right? Like, you don't have to clean out the whole. You know, you just don't want to be. You know, like I said, you want to do at least half of what you should be doing. You know, like if you're not going to clean your whole office, for example, you know, at least throw out the trash, right? Throw away anything that's of no use or you're not going to use, right? So that we have less stuff to deal with later. You know, try to wipe down some stuff, even if you don't fully finish cleaning, at least you did a little bit of something. And try to, like, you know, get yourself to do a little bit at a time. Because sometimes like let's say you could clean your office like in like 30 minutes, but you really don't feel like doing it. Right? So, right, you're procrastinating. So, you know, spend like a couple minutes cleaning and then stop. Do some other shit, spend a couple minutes, you know, cleaning, you know, just, you know, stretch it out if you have to, you know, within the time that you already have, you know, try to do a little bit of cleaning while you're doing something else. So as long as you add it to something you're already doing, something you're not procrastinating on, if you add just a little bit of it, you get some of it done. And that's the idea, so try to get something, do something. It's the same thing like when it comes to investing in the stock market, right? You know, it'll take a lot of time and effort to, you know, study the market, right? You know, watch a whole bunch of videos to learn, you know, about companies, about different stocks, about crypto, about ETFs and REITs and all these different things that you could invest in and whatnot. Small little things, right? Sometimes there's things you don't want to do, or especially if it has to do with other people that you're working with, you might not want to, micromanage basically. You'll be happy. You prefer a scenario where you just tell people what you need them to do, and then that's it, and then you trust that they'll do, their job, right? They'll do their part. But sometimes that's not the case. Sometimes you don't get that scenario, and you do have to put in that extra effort that you don't want to put in, but it got to be done. And just find the best time you can do it. And like I said, whenever you feel motivated to do something, try to do everything you ever procrastinated on. Try to do it then when you're motivated, right? Try to come up with, like, for example, let's say you tend to have a good amount of energy on Sunday, right? Then that'd be your procrastination catch-up day, right? Find a day that you can, catch up on the stuff you're procrastinating, right? Try to do everything that you didn't do on the course of the week. This will help you, stay on track. That way you don't have a whole bunch of stuff you're procrastinating on and compound, right? Like, for example, let's say you normally work out when you exercise, right? You lift weights and stuff. Let's say you do arms on Monday, stomach and back on Tuesday, right? Leg day on Wednesday or some shit like that, right? You do aerobics, cardio, I say, like on Thursday. And let's say you do yoga on Friday, right? So that's 5 days worth of exercising. But let's say you skipped out a couple exercises, or let's say you procrastinated on the whole week and didn't do any of the exercising. All right, then Saturday or Sunday, try to make up for it. Preferably Saturday, so that way you can have Sunday to rest, because next week you'll probably start your workout routine again. So you'll probably want to do it on Saturday to make up for the fact you didn't exercise during the week, and you're going to want to do a full body workout. So come up with a full body routine. Doesn't have to be too strenuous, right? You don't want to overwork, because the following week you're going to go back to your usual routine. So you can just probably add extra reps or sets on your next week's workout, but definitely try to get something done. Try to get some type of activity, and that's the thing. Just try to find a way to make up for your procrastination. So that's another way to deal with procrastination, is to find a time where you're not procrastinating, where you have too much energy. You're like, oh man, it's like, damn, I got all this energy, I don't know what to do. All the things you didn't do before, that would be a good idea. That kind of stuff. So that's one other way of dealing with procrastination. Like I said earlier, getting somebody to do it for you is one way to deal with you not doing something. Another way is to do little by little bits and pieces of the thing you need to do and add it to whatever else you're doing, so that way you can kind of multitask. So multitasking is another way of dealing with procrastination. Then just setting a day to catch up day or make-up day, whatever you want to call it, to make up for the procrastination. Just do it. Sometimes you might have to give up sleep. That's another thing. Try to make extra time. Like, let's say you procrastinated, you had a lot of stuff to do, but you procrastinated, so you wasted some time not doing the thing you should have done because you were doing something else. Now you have to sacrifice something like sleep. You might have to sacrifice an hour or two just to try to catch up, right? That way you give yourself extra time to do the thing you were procrastinating on, and then go to sleep, right? So there's that. Another way to add extra time, so that way you have extra time to deal with whatever you're procrastinating on, is to do something else. Is to do less of something else. Like less sleep, obviously, was one example. Another thing would be an activity. Like, for example, you can get somebody to do the things you normally want to do. You can get somebody else to do that, and then you focus on the procrastination stuff. That way, the stuff that you had no problem doing will still get done, but at least it's not distracting you from the thing you're trying to procrastinate. That way, you end up having more time to try to not procrastinate. So that's another way you can try to deal with procrastination. Obviously, automating anything, like if a lot of the stuff you want to do or need to do is computer related, or has to do with the internet, you can try to automate it. Try to go online, try to find a way to, find something that can help you automate a lot of your online tasks, a lot of the stuff you do. Let's say you do social media related stuff, right? Then instead of trying to post on all your social media accounts by logging into each and every one of them and making posts, right? You can, especially if it's going to be the same post, then you want to automate it. You might want to find a website where you can link all your social medias to that one site, right? And then you post on that site, and then automatically that site will post to all the other sites for you. So that's a way you can simplify your tasks. That's another thing, right? It's just the idea of like trying to make it easier to do the things that you typically procrastinate on, because if you normally do a lot of something, well, if you can make it where you do less of it, right? Or you make it where like you don't have to do the whole thing. That's another way of dealing with procrastination. Basically, this is just the idea of like find other ways to make it easy to do the things you want to do that you normally would procrastinate on. Obviously, the ultimate thing would be to not procrastinate at all, right? Right? To not try to avoid doing something that you should be doing or want to do, and just do it. But sometimes that could be a problem. Sometimes that could be an issue. Like it could affect you physically, mentally, forcing yourself to do something you don't really want to do, but it needs to be done, right? Like for example, I procrastinated on throwing out the trash. I threw out the trash today, which was good. Finally got rid of it. But that was last week's trash. Technically the week before that, right? Because last week's, it was about 2 weeks. So I had 2 weeks worth of trash, and I finally threw it out. So yes, I was procrastinating on that, but I did eventually do it. But that's the thing. At least I got rid of all the trash all at once. So I procrastinated on the trash, but at least I got rid of it. I got bills to pay this week and rent, which is good. One is good that it's cheap, so it's not taking that much money out of my pocket. Plus, I make money and I invest and stuff. So clearly, money is not an issue when it comes to that. But the thing is that I have somebody else who helps me deal with it. One helps me pay for the half of the rents and half of the bills, and all I have to do is just give them the money and they take care of the rest. So that right there makes things simple for me. Typically what they do is they pay for the full amount, the full rent, the full bills, and then I just reimburse them by giving them my half of the rent and my half of the bills. So that right there makes things simple. Not much else I can think of when it comes to not procrastinating, but it was just a thought that I was having of the fact that sometimes I notice that procrastination definitely prevents you from making a lot of money, but also there's other people that also procrastinate, and they too don't you know, do things even though you made it easy for them to do it. You find out, you understood that they're lazy, right? They tend to procrastinate. So you try to give them some easy way to do the thing that they're procrastinating on, even to the point where you did it for them, and still, they still rather procrastinate. So it's hard to get people to not procrastinate, because when they want to do it, they want to do it, right? But hopefully these tips will help you procrastinate less. Hopefully you might get to the point where you barely procrastinate, or you're just better with managing the things you need to do, so that way you have so much free time, and all the stuff you needed to do has already been done, so you don't have to worry about, when you do feel, lazy, or you feel like procrastinating. At least there's nothing or very little to procrastinate on, and you could always deal with it later, obviously, as long as it's very little procrastination. That's the end of the podcast.